Welcome to the Joyful Writer Podcast, a place for writers to nurture their creativity, rekindle their love for writing, and cultivate a joyful author mindset. I'm your host, China Pace. Hello again, writers. Today, I want to talk about the writing journey and how remembering that writing is a journey can help us on our way to a more joyful writing life. What are some big milestones that you think of when you imagine the writing career of your dreams? Some of mine have always been publishing my books, putting my work out into the world, and having my first sale. These are all wonderful goals to have and aspire towards, but sometimes those goals become more important than the journey. Sometimes we center our entire writing life around one particular endpoint, getting a literary agent, or having a perfect launch for our first book, even getting on the bestseller list. These dreams get so big, they become the entire reason we write, when I believe they should be the fuel for our writing. We should always have our goals in front of us, and we should stay focused on where we want to go and what we want out of our individual careers. And when the going gets tough and writing is extra hard, we need to have our dreams clear in our heads to keep us going and stop ourselves from giving up. Our goals should be our cheerleaders, our sweet, every now and then reminders, our causes for celebration. But they shouldn't be the center of our writing life. Now, I am definitely guilty of this, and I think a lot of writers are. So don't feel bad. I mean, we fantasize about that moment of success, of finally seeing our books in print, on the shelves, in the hands of readers. We all carry a romantic vision in our heads of being an author and being a successful author. But the problem with that is that we can be too hard on ourselves if we don't live up to that expectation. We can let everything we do revolve around that one goal and forget to pause and really enjoy what the writing journey is all about. And what is the writing journey about anyway? Well, to me, I feel the writing journey is about 80% day-to-day writing and creating, and about 20% big milestones. When we achieve a big goal, it's great, but it's only one moment, only one piece in the grand scheme picture of a writer's lifetime. So hinging everything, all of our joy and peace and well-being on that one piece of the picture can cause us to strive endlessly and put horrible amounts of pressure on ourselves. Think of it like this. When we read a book, we know that the characters have a clear goal in mind. We know their motivation. We know what drives them to make the decisions they make. We also know that, eventually, they'll come to a certain endpoint. And when they finally do reach that point, hopefully, it's a satisfying moment. It may bring us a lot of joy. But it's just one moment. And then, shortly after that, the book will end. And when the book ends, when enough time has passed and we reflect on it later, we usually don't decide whether or not we like the book based on that final end moment. We base it around the entire experience of the book, the scenes, the conflict throughout the beginning and middle, the individual plot threads that make up the whole story, the characters and their lives that leap from the page. In the same way, we should love and celebrate our big accomplishments, but we should recognize that they're not what our entire writing career is about. They're merely small signposts in a big picture journey. Reminding myself of this has helped me a lot when it comes to decreasing my stress levels and diminishing the strength of overwhelm. Anytime I have any writing-related anxieties or struggles, I always try to trace the root of the problem so I can try to remedy it. And the majority of the time, the root of my writing stresses usually involves some big goal I think I need to achieve, and achieve a certain way. For example, I just recently released the first two books in my young adult fantasy series, The Dreamworld Chronicles. It was a decision that had really been bothering me for months. I always felt ready, and I knew my books were ready. But I was holding myself back by this belief that I couldn't put my writing out there until I had mastered a certain checklist or followed a particular set of rules. I realized that I was putting too much pressure on one single launch instead of just taking it easy and acknowledging that as a single launch in a whole series of launches to come. In my mind, that one moment of publishing became so big that it swallowed up everything around it. It distorted my focus and made me forget what was really important. Not just one launch, but the whole lifetime of my writing career. Try to think about the main struggles you have with writing. Do any of them involve, in some way, a big moment or goal that you're holding on a pedestal in your mind? An achievement that is threatening to steal your joy and take your focus off the journey? Well, you're not alone. I go through this at least once a day, if not 10 times a day. It definitely takes an effort to fix our eyes on the little things, on all the mundane details that might pale in comparison to that fabulous publishing feat we want to accomplish. But here's what I want you to remember. The journey is important because it's basically our entire lives as writers. It's what we're left with after the initial highs of achieving something awesome begin to fade and the day-to-day hard-working reality comes back. Sure, we feel awesome when we finally do something we've always wanted to do, when we see a dream fulfilled or conquer a big fear. But it's like a burst of excitement. It isn't long-lasting because it only revolves around a single moment in time. But the real, true, long-lasting joy, the joy of the whole writing journey, is a mixture of highs and lows, laughter and tears, writing lots of words and writing 0 words. It is the joy of showing up to work on our books and knowing that we are fulfilling our purpose. It is typing a few words or brainstorming for a few minutes and realizing that we just planted seeds for a story that will give us an amazing harvest one day. It's the magic of discovering something amazing and totally unexpected in our story, of getting to know our characters on a deeper level, of seeing our growth as writers and knowing that day by day we are furthering our craft. It may sound cliche to say, stop and smell the roses, but that's essentially what we're talking about here. It's all about taking time to embrace the little things that will carry us throughout our life for many more manuscripts. So, if you feel prone to focusing on the destinations instead of the journey, try this exercise with me. Really think about what you love about writing so much. Don't let any thoughts of becoming a published author or making a living off your writing enter your head. Ignore thoughts of marketing or author platform or anything else you feel you have to do. Just focus on how writing makes you feel. Imagine that feeling when you're typing away and the story just seems to flow from your fingertips. When your creative well is full to the bursting with cool ideas that excite you. Picture the things about your work in progress that make you happy. And these can literally be anything. For me, I am really intrigued with a specific character in my current book. She's really devious and creepy and fun to write, So most days lately, I'm just so excited to sit down to write because I want to spend more time with this character. It has seriously been giving me the greatest joy. And as someone who's just recently published her book, I can honestly say that the thrill of publishing was awesome. It was a time in my life I will never forget. But to be honest, already the thrill has dimmed. Now my thrill is this character I love in my book, and writing her parts, and grinning to myself when she does something mischievous. Seeing my books on Amazon is cool, but at this point, I'm more excited to spend time with my manuscript in the early hours of dawn, to feel the keyboard beneath my fingers, and begin the strenuous yet fun process of wrestling my ideas out of my brain and onto the page. I've experienced firsthand that the writing journey contains so much more joy and happiness and wonder than any specific destination. So center your mind on those feelings, whatever shape or form they may take for you. Hold them close to your heart and protect them. Don't lose sight of them when the prospect of a shiny achievement comes along. Take the opportunity, do the thing, and feel the excitement that follows. But remember that goals can only give you temporary joy. If you want deep, long-lasting joy in your writing life, stay aware of all the little things, all the small wonders and gentle thrills. And remember that writing is a lifelong journey, not a short-term destination. One more thing I want to add is that with a journey comes many different seasons, places, emotions, and experiences. There are positives and negatives, times where you love what you're doing and times where you want to throw in the towel. When things get rough, when you reach a point in your manuscript where you're overcome with negative feelings towards your writing, when you get a rejection or a bad review, or when you just feel tired and exasperated with the writing life, don't beat yourself up about it. These moments inevitably come, and they're definitely not pleasant, but they're all part of the journey as well. And the hardest times often give us our greatest growth. So if you're struggling right now, feeling down or discouraged, just be kind to yourself. Don't try to erase the feelings or force joy or positivity. Let yourself feel what you're feeling, then gently remind yourself that these times will soon pass, and when they go, they'll leave behind a renewed strength and a new resilience that will help you throughout the rest of your journey. That's all for now, writers. I hope today's episode is a helpful one for you, and that it will inspire you to view your writing career in a new light. Just remember, happy or sad, lows or highs, the writing journey is an awesome one to be on, and we're all in it together. I'm your host, China Pace. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode.